What's going on, ladies and gentlemen and ladies? This is an early one today. Let me tell you the topics we're going to talk about today. J.D. Vance going after Tim Walz. We're going to talk about Donald Trump's phone call backlash with the hockey team, which is crazy. Bill Clinton finally gets deposed today. Was Jesus gay? Wait till we get to that segment. Before we talk about all of that, I have to talk about Stephen A. Smith on Dave Rubin Show. Welcome to the Officer Tatum Show.
If you don't believe that we are in a fight today, you're sleeping under a rock. If you get hit and you lay down and you cry and you fold up in the corner, definitely you will not win the fight. We show up to win. Our culture needs a lot of you young people in here to step up and stand out. There is nothing or no principality, power, division, devil can stop us when we're united. They can only get you when you're divided. When I see the American flag, I see us progressing to something that can be awesome and great. And if you don't plan on winning things, you might as well go on the day.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Officer Tatum Show. Hey, shout out to everybody that joined the membership program. I really appreciate you. It's another way that you can support the channel and also get access to things that I do that are not normally on the podcast. And why do I do that? It's because I want to show love to people that have been supportive of the channel, people that want a little more than just the commentary that we do on a day-to-day basis for absolutely free. So I'll say this, I've been doing free content ever since I started, and I will always do free content. But there's people who want to do more, want to see more, want to be involved, want to help us be able to venture out outside of the podcast room and travel and do things and, you know, some fun things that we can do outside of political commentary. And shout out to all the members because you make that possible. So if you want to join the membership program, just hit the join button somewhere, join the membership, find the level that you want to be at. We're going to innovate the memberships here soon. We're working on it right now that we're going to get different tiers. We're going to have different perks. We're going to do giveaways. I want to do another part. I don't know if I talked to the guys about this, is that some of the members want to maybe have stuff that they want me to talk about. So if you're at a certain membership level, you can make a request for me to make the video. And if I choose the video that you requested, we'll give you a shout out and also do the content that you chose. So we got so many great things going on. Shout out to Verdict. I mean, I think we're almost selling out of our second batch. The best bourbon in America, in my personal opinion, and everybody that has wrote a review has said it's their top 5 bourbon, some of the best bourbon they ever had. I'm telling you, go look at the reviews and go on right now, verdictbourbon.com, verdictbourbon.com. You got to be 21 and over, and make sure you drink responsibly, okay? And then also Synergy. If you're looking for a energy drink, you're looking for something that give you sustainable energy without the crash, no sugar, all natural, go with Synergy. Also, if you struggle to sleep at night, literally our marketing company that we work with, the owner of the marketing company is in love with Synergy Night. He said he is going to be a customer for the rest of his life. That's incredible to have from the person that's helping us market Synergy. So also follow me on Substack. We got 14,000 people that follow me on Substack. Follow me on the podcast. You can listen to the podcast when you're riding in your car or you're working out. And follow me at The Officer Tatum on all social media platforms. Let's get into this. Stephen A. Smith on Dave Rubin Show. Some of you guys, I'm going to warn you, you're going to be slightly upset, maybe slightly offended. Let's get the timer started. Slightly offended at some things that Stephen A. Smith is going to say. Why, Brandon, are you promoting what he's saying on Dave Rubin Show, even though it could be counter to what you believe in part? It is because we need to understand that there are moderate people that think like Stephen A. Smith. He does agree with conservatives on a lot of things, but there are moderate positions that he takes that show family members and friends who are reasonable, they take the same position. So it's good to hear what they have to say and then have a reasonable response, to what they say so you can be very, I guess, cognitively aware when you're having a conversation with some of your family members that you love and you care about and they're still sane, because the other ones are not sane and you should not waste your time talking to them. All right, let's start with the first clip. Stephen A. Smith, roll it.
Let me say this about Donald Trump. To me, I don't even get in his policies. Like, for example, 2028 election. I'm not ruling out the possibility that if I don't run, that I wouldn't vote for a guy like Marco Rubio. I respect Marco Rubio. This man is a former senator. He's the present Secretary of State. He's the National Security Advisor. He's an adult in the room. I look at J.D. Vance and I see somebody that aspires to be Trump-ish, engaging in populism as opposed to actually getting the work done. When Trump congratulated Marco Rubio on the job that he did Tuesday night, he barely wanted to stand up and acknowledge the chairs. He ain't got time for all of that. I can relate. I'm like that. He got time for all of that. Got a job to do.
I'm really glad you brought that up.
This fawning and this fawning over Trump by everybody. I mean, other than Marco Rubio, everybody that you see talking, it drives me crazy. It's little stuff like this, but it's a big thing. Every single person that speaks on behalf of Trump, the first word I just want to thank the great president that we have and the great leader. It's all of this fawning. It's like it's a requirement before you say hello. You're just looking at them and saying, who are you? Are you really about doing the job, or are you really about appeasing and pleasing him so you can keep your job? What the hell is going on? I don't have time for all of that. So what I'm saying to you is, when I look at a guy like Donald Trump, my issue with him, not respectful, doesn't have the proper decorum, the statesmanship that I'd like from the presidency, because I believe he provokes chaos instead of galvanizing folks to come together. That's my belief about him. And it's very hard for me to say that because I had a good relationship with him before he was running for president. That's why you don't hear me calling him some of the names that some of these people on the left call him. I knew him before that, and I know a whole bunch of people from my community that knew Donald Trump before he ran for president. We never had an issue with that man. We didn't have an issue with that man at all. He runs for president now, and he seems to be addicted to the get back all the damn time. That's why I call his second term a vengeance tour, because everything is about the get back. Everything is about validating what he was proclaiming and what has happened to him. So at some point in time, you got to move forward. And in the process of saying all
right, he's going to get to the next topic, but let me address this real quick. I don't disagree with him to a certain degree. The only disagreement I have with Stephen A. on this is that there's a time and a place for a Donald Trump in society. And if we did not have Donald Trump with his arrogant behavior sometimes, I think he's very generous in other times, but some of his behavior is arrogant, and he's, he's self-centered in certain aspects, and that he does have a revenge mindset in his third term, actually, it should be. But I understand that, and it's necessary. It's like a necessary evil. Donald Trump is not perfect. Donald Trump do say crazy stuff. Donald Trump do stoke the fire. But I honestly believe that there's a time and a place for this. And I think that Donald Trump needed to be the person that does this with this character and behavior during a time such as this, because being nice and being cute and being moderate and being sensitive to people, that is not going to work when the devil trying to take over the country. I want you guys to understand it. It's not going to work when these devils are not trying to be peaceable. These devils are not trying to, think about the next move and what they're going to say and bring the country together. They don't. They want to kill us. To be quite honest, they want us all dead. And I know people probably think I'm exaggerating, but they do. They hate our guts. They don't want conservatism. They don't want capitalism. They want communism that never works. And so I just want to address that. He's going to get to another point that I totally disagree with, but I can see where he's coming from. Roll the clip.
That as a black man, I don't like the fact that you're trying to tell people what books we should have access to. I don't like the fact that you're trying to dictate to us what we should study, what we should learn, what we should know and want to know about our history. There are iniquities that took place in this country. It's happened to black people. It happened to gays and others in the LGBTQ community. It's happened to, you wouldn't go up to the Jewish community and try to tell them about what they should be studying about their own history and what they should know and what they should have access to. Stuff like that.
Well, I'm confused. Are you saying Trump is telling?
I'm saying when you have issues like the Smithsonian Museum issue and what have you, when you bring up stuff like that, I have a problem with it because I'm looking at an absence of sensitivity to stuff that doesn't concern you. In the end, you as a white man shouldn't be telling black people what we should be studying about our history or what we should have access to and stuff like that. These culture wars that are taking place, I'm uncomfortable with him with that stuff. And
all right, let's address that, because Donald Trump is not trying to tell black people what books to read. History is history. Let me say that again for the people in the back smoking crack in a Cadillac. History is history. There's no such thing as black history. It's American history. And black people were involved in American history. So when Donald Trump is removing books and certain literature from the Smithsonian, which he has the authority to do, it's because these books are exaggerating and inaccurate about American history. They are framing this idea that this country was built on slavery and that this country is diametrically against black individuals, which is inaccurate history, which caused division and chaos in the Smithsonian. But you can go to the library right now and look at whatever documentation you want and read whoever's ignorant folk that writing these old stupid books to make money off of your victimhood. So I don't think that that's accurate. I do respect his opinion about it, but it is not. I'm sick of people saying my people. I refer to black folks because that's a group of people that I grew up with, and there's a certain culture associated. But at the end of the day, we're all Americans. When you leave the soil of the United States of America and you go to another country, they're not asking you, are you black? They're not looking at the black people in the UK aren't looking at you and them as the same. When you leave, you're an American or you're not an American. And why in America we feel like we got to be divided when you go to another country, you're an American or not, no matter what color you are. All right, let me let him finish, and then we got a couple other clips.
Don't view him as somebody that really, really prioritize appeasing the black community by showing us what you're bringing to the table for us. I think any benefits that may occur is a byproduct of him doing what he wants to do for his base of people as opposed to my community, and I have a problem with that. That's where I'm coming from.
And let me add this too. I think that doing right by America is doing right by black people. I don't like the idea that we have to somehow create a special menu or a secret menu for these people over here that live in the same country as these people over here. Lowering taxes benefit black people too because they go to work too. Having ID to vote benefits black folks because they also don't want illegals voting in the election and thwarting their vote and their opportunity to make decisions based on their voting power. I don't understand. Men not being able to transition and devastate women in women's sports is something that everybody in America should identify with. I think there's unique things that happen in inner city and poor neighborhoods that I think we can address, but that is not a black thing. That is a poor thing. I'm black, and nothing that happens in the inner city is associated with me. I don't somehow have gang violence that travel with me everywhere I go move. No, I've moved to a different neighborhood, so I'm not a part of that. I'm a black man that's not in the gang. I don't believe in none of that shenanigans. I'm not listening to drill music and all that stuff. So I'm not like them. My struggle ain't their struggle. And I'm not saying that their struggle don't matter. I'm just saying that just because I'm black don't mean I'm associated with it. All right, I think we got like one or two more clips from Stephen A. Smith, and then we're going to get on to Tim Walz, and then the hockey team controversy, Clinton, and then this idiot, which he's going straight to hell. I don't know where else he can go, saying that Jesus was gay. Can you imagine? Y'all hold on for that story. Jesus is gay is the craziest thing anybody could say. All right, Stephen A. Smith clip. Let's roll it, and we'll cut these short.
I will say this: I am in no way identifying myself with today's Democratic Party. When I'm talking about Democrat, I'm talking about me being a moderate. I'm talking about the Democrats that existed in the 80s and the 90s, the Clinton Democrats and stuff like that. I'm not talking about this strong progressive left, you know, with some of the nonsense that they've spewed and the positions that they've taken. Oh no, if I were to ever run for office, I wouldn't listen to them at all. I wouldn't take that nonsense from them one bit. Because
do you think there's a way to do that, like a genuine way to do that? Just, it seems to me that your attachments to the Democrat Party are of a Democrat Party maybe of 20 or 30 or 40
Absolutely.
years ago, because everything that you talk about and the way that I actually love that you still describe yourself as a liberal, because I do consider I'm a real liberal. It just has nothing to do with the Democrat Party now. So when you talk about the gay rights, let's say, or abortion, which has been kicked back to the states. Republicans aren't really screaming about it. You don't hear them trying to reverse gay marriage or something. Or the fact that Trump has really shifted the party when it comes to let's say, minorities. It still seems to me you are more of a Republican. I'm not trying to just throw you in a bucket, but I'm really just trying to understand the thought process.
Listen, at the end of the day, it's fair is fair. If you see what I say and what I believe and how I conduct myself, I have no problem with people saying that.
Yeah.
Patrick Bet-David has become a really good friend of mine, and he and I talk all the time. And he always says, excuse me, he always says, you are the most conservative Democrat I've ever seen.
They used to exist.
That's what he
Blue
said.
dog Democrats, yeah.
He don't know what to do. Excuse me. He says, I'm the most conservative Democrat he has seen. But I don't view it that way. I view, to me, if I was in office, I would be focusing on the desolate and the disenfranchised more than I see the Republican Party doing. I agree and I believe in free market capitalism from a principled perspective. But in the same breath, I do believe there are people out here who need a helping hand, who need assistance. I do believe in entitlement programs for the disenfranchised, for the poor amongst us. I do believe in helping to uplift the little man and the little woman and giving folks a chance at the American dream. And I don't think...
I don't want to run all my time on this. If you guys want to see the full clips, we can upload it to the members. If the members want to see the full clip, we'll upload the full clip of some of these things if you want it. Just put it in the comment section for the members if you want us to do that, because we'll love to share the whole clip with you if you want to see it. But what I will say is that when you make the country better, everybody rises. When you eliminate fraud and get illegal aliens out of this country, we can have certain entitlement programs. And people who are milking it need to get kicked off so the people who really need it can be of service to them. I was on food stamps when I first had my son for 3 months. So yeah, some of these things that give you a helping hand to get yourself up a little bit, give you, help you rise up to move on to something different, is something that I believe in just like anybody else. But when you on there for 30 years on government assistance and because you lazy and sorry and you want to lay up and have kids with all these dirtbags that don't take care of you and you think the government, my tax dollars and other people's tax dollars are supposed to take care of you, that's absolute foolery. Let's get to Tim Walz, because that dude's sorry self need to be in trouble for what he did. The amount of fraud in Minnesota is so diabolical, it's crazy to me. And I honestly think that Tim Walz needs to be held accountable to some degree, because there is no way that you have billions of dollars of fraud in your state as the governor and you have no idea what's happening. That's just like a CEO of a company having fraud go on in your company and you going, I just didn't know. Well, that don't cut it. All right, let's roll a Fox News clip about Tim Walz and his autism fraud. Roll it.
And Martha, the fraud in Minnesota happened on a number of different platforms. The Vice President and Dr. Oz yesterday focused on the autism treatment centers. And the allegation is that the treatment centers would encourage parents to get a bogus diagnosis that their kid was autistic. The treatment center would then get a check and the parents would get a kickback. The treatment centers could not receive surprise inspections because they were not licensed. Now that licenses are required, only 6 out of more than 500 centers are even applying for the provisional license. Dr. Oz says this goes all the way to the top of state leadership.
This is not a problem with the people of Minnesota. It's a problem with the leadership of Minnesota and other states who do not take Medicaid preservation seriously. Any delay in services is going to be, should be laid at the seat of Governor Walz.
Now, Governor Tim Walz says a decision to withhold $250 million in Medicaid money is an example of the Trump administration weaponizing the federal government and punishing the people in a blue state.
The sense of retribution, no state has experienced this before. How does taking and punishing children and elderly have anything to do with fighting fraud when that's not where this issue is taking place? It does nothing.
Now, in 2017, the money repaid to the state of Minnesota for autism treatment was less than $2 million. By 2019, word got out that money was available, and then when COVID hit, the money really started moving until we see in 2024 almost $350 million paid out for autism treatment. Quite an increase in cases.
Indeed.
Martha, back to you.
Mike, thank you very much.
In the world of policing and investigations, this is what you call a clue, right? This is what you call probable cause. or you could call it reasonable suspicion. When you see numbers like this, you have to look into it, right? Because just say if your bank account, put that back on the screen if we got that chart. We could put 605 on there. If your bank account went from $1 million to $343 million in just this amount of years, I don't know how many years that is. 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They said, hold on, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 14. 24 is 7, 7, 14. All right. My math skills, I haven't been in school in a while. But in 7 years, if I go from making $1 million to $343 million, like, just say it was a good thing, I think it should be looked into. I should sit down with my accountant. I should sit down with my COO. I should sit down with people and say, what did we do to jump in money like this? Because we need to keep this up, right? And so now when you see it in the wrong direction, meaning that we are now, just say that this was a vendor and I was paying a marketing company $1 million in 2017, and then I end up paying them $343 million in 2024 in 7 years. Somebody got to check and say, for that level of increase, by like 340% or 300 times, that's 340 times the number you had. All right, come on, let's go. Let me get the second clip of J.D. Vance. I just want to touch on this because Tim Walz and them acting like our government, the White House, is just being punitive towards them. Listen to what J.D. Vance said is the only requirement for them to release the funds, because Democrats and your sorry cousin them are going to be out here saying, look, they just taking money from a blue state. They explain to me how Tim Walz and the government in Minnesota cannot do this simple thing. Roll the clip.
Want to be in a situation where the state of Minnesota is being so careless with federal tax dollars that we have to turn the screws on them a little bit so that they take this fraud seriously. You heard Dr. Oz say this. Tim Walz could call him, could call me, could call anybody in the administration, and we've given him 60 days to respond to this. All we need the governor and the administration in Minnesota to do is something quite simple, which is to show that before you give Medicaid funds to somebody, you're taking seriously whether they provided the services that they say that they're providing. And the fact that there are so many people handing out millions and billions of dollars of federal Medicaid money without even confirming that they're doing the thing that they say that they're doing, it's a disgrace. It's a defrauding of the American taxpayer, and we're stopping it.
You know, there's times where I'm like, am I biased? Am I tripping? Am I just, because it's on our side, I'm just kind of like overlooking stuff? And then when you hear things, you're like, that is so simplistic. In any capacity of life, that's the legitimate way to deal with business. Are you really doing what you say you're doing? And if you are, we're good. If you're not, that's a problem. Here's Tim Walz's response. Roll it.
What do you think is behind this, from the immigration action?
If I knew what went on in Donald Trump's mind, I think the world would be really glad to hear me say what it is. I have no damn idea, Mary, what they're thinking.
Does it feel disproportionate?
Yeah, because I think the number is now 19 billion, according to the president. And, you know, look, the thing about that is, and we've been very candid and open trying to solve this, misinformation doesn't help us fix fraud. Saying false numbers like this doesn't get to the reality of this, the actual tools to do it. Look, I see no other way to view this than I take him for his word when this is reckoning and retribution. They used false pretense to come in on Metro Surge, and we saw the catastrophic damage that was done and the deaths. Now we're seeing them turn to this. And again, I ask all of you, you're very versed at this. You followed this. You see this. So they're going to freeze the money because of fraud. What specific fraud? What did you see that the state didn't do? You've been hearing this. We've been doing all these. They gave you not one single grain of this happened that's fraud. And as we know, it doesn't make it right. This is in every state. And the numbers are bigger in other states because they're bigger. And they're doing nothing. And they're being very specific about this. And look, I don't know when sometimes somebody says that enough is enough. This is a targeted retribution against.
Time out. He's really saying they haven't identified any fraud. If you have had numbers go up by 300 times what it was before, if my math is right, then I think it's valuable to look into it and say, you need to prove why this is happening, or we can't give you the money because this is suspicious. If you had a bank account and one day you spent $20,000 in one place in a city that you don't live in, the bank is going to freeze the money and say, is this fraud? Is this fraud? We just trying to check so you're not getting screwed. Why the taxpayer should be like, wait, is this fraud? That like 70, 80% of all the government funding is going to Somalians in that state. What are we saying, bruh? I know it's fraud. When I was growing up, I cannot confirm or deny, I knew people doing fraud. That's exactly what we'll do. People putting their other people's kids on their taxes. You go down the street, homeboy doing taxes this year. They adding all kinds of, your tax return $20,000, and you ain't worked the whole year. It's fraud, bruh. Homeboy coming around selling polo shirts for $20 a shirt because they stole it from the dealers. This is what people do, man. I grew up around people doing fraud all the time. So when I see the Somalians doing this is the same thing they do in the black neighborhoods, in the hood, in the inner cities. We do the same fraud. People get prescription. You know a doctor that got his own practice. They giving you prescription drugs. You selling drugs on the street, $20 a pill. Like, they lying to y'all. And they know better than what they're doing. They could just ask the police chief, does this sound like fraud? Yes. All right. Let's get to the hockey team because I'm running out of time. I want to make this one quick because I want to get to this gay Jesus thing. Let's get to the hockey team real quick. The controversy around the hockey team is crazy to me, and this is why I got mad yesterday, and I made a video and it didn't have no sound on it because my phone sucks. But let me play this clip, and I guess people are mad that President Trump said this in this celebratory call to the U.S. men's hockey team. Roll the clip.
What would really be cool, and we'll do the White House the next day, we'll just have some fun. We have medals for you guys. And we have to, I must tell you, we're going to have to bring the women's team. You do know that. I do believe I probably would be impeached, okay? But anyway, if you could work that out, I would be honored to have you. I'll introduce you to the whole...
I got it, boss. I got it.
Okay, you got it, Cash.
I'm on it.
Cash is doing it. I'm happy.
I'm on it.
Congratulations.
So when I listened to that call, I don't even know what Trump was talking about. They all laughed and cheered, but I don't see that being unequivocally a knock on the women. They won just like the men won. In the mother-freaking call, the men say, 2 for 2. They're celebrating the women and acknowledging the women won too in the call with Donald Trump. What are y'all talking about? So they try to bait one of the female hockey players. Now, I'm going to say this in good faith because this is going to lead to that other video I made. If the women played the men in hockey, they would murder them. They would have to call the police and file a police report. They would beat the living out of the women. I mean, physically and metaphorically. So let's not get that twisted. These women are not on the same page as the men when it comes to one-to-one talent. But separating the talent, they did very well according to their own abilities against other qualified components or opponents. Kudos to them. Nothing away from them. That's why we have women's sports. The males did a really great job. It seems like they both are friends anyway. Nobody has a problem but the mainstream media because they want to pit male against female. But this is a young lady who I got to give a little bit of respect to. And the other dog-faced pony soldier, I'm gonna rag her because she's an idiot. And this young lady seemed to have it all together and not biting buying into the BS. Roll the clip.
Yeah, I don't really have a response. Like, it's unfortunate, the conversations surrounding it, like where it's gone throughout social media. But all I can say is, like, I've never been more proud to pull on the USA jersey, and I think for a lot of us, like, it's the honor of a lifetime to represent our country on the biggest stage. And we went over there with one thing in mind, to bring home a gold medal for our country. And pretty incredible that we got to do it men's and women's. That's the first time that we've ever done that. So, I think that's what should be highlighted is, as a group, like, both men's and women's, we were able to do something that's never been done before. And have a lot of respect for them. Obviously became friends with them throughout the week. They were at our games, we were at theirs. Saw Jack after I scored my goal, and he gave me a big hug and congratulations. And I was lucky enough to do that for him after he scored his goal. So, we're going to be gold medalists together forever. And I think I'd just like to shift the focus to that. We're proud to be an American, all of us, and you can't take away from what we did on the biggest stage in the world.
All right, so 99.9% of what she said is good. Her mama didn't raise her right. But this girl right here, and I know the first girl ain't going to like me because I'm talking about her teammate. I get it. I know how it is. Loyalty is there. You don't have to like me because that's your road dog. But this woman, this young lady is a fool. Roll the clip.
There's been a lot of talk about that call the president made to the men's hockey team. Will the women's team be accepting his offer to come to the White House?
I'm not sure. I'm really not sure where that stands. I know there was some sort of announcement the other day. As far as my knowledge, I haven't seen anything. I thought the call in itself was distasteful and an awesome learning moment to refocus the narrative and understand, our words matter and how we speak about women matters. And we need to celebrate this team as we've earned our celebrations on the stage and representing our country in the best way. So really looking forward to just leaning into that and continuing to drive success through our group and be the inspiration that we are in our communities.
Well, I hope that you, and you've handled it, everyone, with such grace and strength.
This make me not like women's sports sometimes. I don't like the ones that, you should be grateful you even have sports. I'm just being honest, because your sport is not as entertaining as the men, and they could do without women's sports. People can do without watching women do anything. I'm being honest here, it's because we are fair and because we want women to succeed and we believe people should be treated fairly and we love women. That's why we want to give them an opportunity to compete and have a good time in sport. We cannot watch women play sports and it won't affect anything. Because when you go to a baseball game versus a softball game, it's not the same. You watch men run the 400-meter dash and the 100-meter dash, and you watch women, it's not even the same. When I go to fights and I see men fight versus women, it's not even the same sport. It's really not. Y'all got 2 or 3 women, because the women, the speed, the strength, and violence that men partake in their sport is nowhere. Women are not even, it's not even close whatsoever. Women's basketball versus the NBA, they can't even dunk, bro. It's not even something to watch. However, I think because men respect women, they have daughters, they have wives, you want women to be able to express themselves and have the joy of sport like men do. So we allow women and we elevate women's sports so they can have it too. The fun that men have, the camaraderie, all of that. We are trying to help you. But some of these women are so ungrateful that they get on here and act like Rapino. Roll the clip. Look at this. This what lesbian stuff do to you. Looking like a little boy. Why you gotta look like a boy? Y'all silly. These gay women, one of them is a girl and one of them is a boy, but they don't want a man. And then they they be at the house with the belt on. You know what I'm talking about? Why you got the belt on and you don't like men? All right, that's what I thought. You really like men, but they don't like you. Because you nasty and you stink and your armpits stink. You don't want to do your nails like a real woman. You want to walk around with saggy pants and dirty underwear, and men don't like that. So you want to go, and be with the women. If that's what you want to do, that's on you. But look at these fools. Every time I see, and I know it is not all gay women, but like most of the time you see gay women, you see one that look like a woman, the other will look like an ugly dude. What are y'all doing? And you think we supposed to respect that and think that makes sense? Come on, get this little raghead on here and let us say what she got to say. Roll it.
I know what happens in those locker rooms.
Yeah, same.
People get brought in.
Oh, same.
Or
you have no say sometimes.
And all of a sudden,
it's happening.
You're in.
That's a great point.
You're in and you're like
part of the truth.
Fuck. Like all of a sudden you're shaking the hand of
whoever.
Someone that you've railed on because like they're, doing inequality against you, whatever, for just to put it bluntly. The choice point, and I don't know exactly who made this. Is it someone at USA Hockey?
No, it came out. The GM of U.S. Hockey is also the GM of the Wild, and I read an article.
Bull daggers. Now, I don't know if she gay or not, but these women, you could just tell by 3 seconds of listening to them talk that they both stupid. In my opinion, you just tell they both stupid. They're feminist stew heads. Probably single or they with another woman, which is might as well be single. Okay, let's get to Jack Hughes and listen to what he said. Hero. Now explain to me this. This is why women get a bad look. Why come the men feel like this and the women are being weak and weird? Roll the clip.
Are you guys excited to be going to the White House and meeting Trump?
Yeah, we're excited. I mean, anytime, like, everything is so political. We're athletes. We're so proud to represent the U.S. And when you get the chance to go to the White House, meet the president, we're proud to be Americans, and that's so patriotic. So no matter what your views are, we're super excited to go to the White House tomorrow and just be a part of that.
How do you feel about the women not going?
They got busy schedules too. I mean, I know we're getting everyone's giving us backlash for all the social media stuff today, but it's so negative. People are so negative out there, and they're trying to find a reason to just put people down and make something out of almost nothing. But our relationship with them over the course of being in the Olympic Village, I think we were so tight with their group and our group after we won the gold medal.
It's called rationale versus emotionalism, in my personal opinion. And I want you to go back. Play the clip, and I want to see his teeth real quick.
I mean, anytime...
Pause it. This is the difference between female hockey and male hockey. Show me a clip of a woman with her teeth hanging out. Got his teeth knocked out. They going so hard in the paint, dudes losing teeth and eyes and everything. And y'all want to act like we're equal to the men and we should be, shut up, girl. Y'all should be just lucky. Y'all should be lucky you got somebody watching your sport and they even let y'all on TV. Because you ain't even close to this. There was another ridiculous woman I wanted to play, but I'm running out of time. I can't stand her. I put her on my thing. She has a lot of good stuff when it comes to finance, but these women are so, it's like kids that are ungrateful. It's just like these women. You're ungrateful. You should be thanking men that you even had a right to vote. I'm just being honest. You should thank men that you not having burkas on top of your head and having your eyes covered up because you're getting run by Muslims. It's because men that died so you can have freedom. Shut your mouth and give respect where respect due. These men done fought all this time for you to have freedom. Shut your mouth. All right, let's go to this pastor so I can finish this. He going to hell. Just with the LG, you can tell, I'm only saying they going to hell unless they repent, so you don't fall into this. If you show up at a church and you see this, get out of there. Because it ain't a church, it's a cult. Now listen to what this blasphemer said about Jesus of Nazareth, the Nazarene. Roll the clip.
How queer was Jesus? He was an observant Jew, but he was 30 years old, no wife, no job, hung out with 12 other dudes.
Let him finish.
That's pretty queer. Queering the Bible takes Jesus and other outsiders and religiously stigmatized folks in the past and juxtaposes them with contemporary queer folks and Christians, realizing that despite our past cultural differences, sexual and gender differences, that we share similar histories of out-of-placeness or vilified sexualities and gender diversities. Jesus' kingdom practice is queer in the sense it questions identities and blurs distinctions. Luke presents Jesus as leaving the patriarchal household and challenging both cultural hierarchies in his egalitarian meals, transgressing gender roles, and radical inclusion of outsiders.
You're going to hell. Bruh. You're going to hell. You're going to hell. I don't know where else you go. I don't know where you go from here. What are you talking about? You know how stupid these people are so stupid because you trying to equate queerness as ignorant, homeless folk with no drive and motives or no motivation. That's what you're equating. You tried to claim that Jesus was unemployed. Last time I checked, he was a carpenter. What unemployment are you talking about? Jesus was on a mission. He was a rabbi. Great teacher is what they called him. He was learned. He went around feeding 5,000 with fish and bread. He was doing all right. He's hanging around men. He wasn't hanging. He was teaching. What are y'all talking about? He taught the next generation to pursue the faith, making disciples of all nations. He wasn't sitting around paying grab butt with these regular men unemployed. You sorry son of a gun. Y'all playing. Keep playing with the Lord. He gonna come back and get you. I don't understand how these people live with themselves saying something stupid like this. Anyway, I think I'm done for the day. We were going to talk about Bill Clinton getting deposed, but in reality, there ain't nothing there. And he ain't gonna go to jail. Nobody's gonna get in trouble. And I'm telling you, I'm telling you this. Let me say this, and I'm gonna be done. I got a few minutes. Y'all need to stop with this crazy Epstein file stuff, please. Hillary Clinton is a dirtbag. We know that. Bill Clinton was on that plane and all that other stuff. I get it. But for people to just be going in, like their whole life is surrounding Epstein files, it's crazy to me. I wish that people would compartmentalize, but the left knows what they're doing. They're throwing this stuff in our face, and people are preoccupied consistently with Epstein and nothing else. They're distracting you. They want you to be looking at Epstein and your focus be on Epstein while they doing something on the side deal over here. The midterms is coming up, and Epstein shouldn't be a part of the midterms. Let me just say this real quick, and people are going to get mad at me, and I do not care. I do not care. If you had to choose the importance, the American economy or the Epstein files, which one is more important to you? Which one is more important to you? You have to focus on things that matter the most. Epstein is like soap opera stuff for the most part. There's probably a few people that done nasty stuff and that should go to jail. But the vast majority of them emails don't mean a hill of beans. Look at what the left is talking about when they talk about the Epstein. It's only Donald Trump. They have thrusted and convinced us to focus on that because they want it to be about Trump. They don't care about victims, or they would have done something when Joe Biden was in office. They don't care. The victims wasn't talking. The left wasn't talking. Congress wasn't putting out files. They didn't even talk about the Epstein files. They didn't mention it. They didn't talk about it. They had nothing to do with it. The only reason they're doing it now is because they think it can affect the midterms if they can claim that Donald Trump is a pedophile. And y'all buying into it instead of focusing on this transgender stuff that's affecting our youth, mental illness in our country, violence in our country, illegal immigration in our country, border security in our country, the stock market, the gas prices, food prices, housing, taxes, all of that. But I swear, but look at some of y'all social media. All y'all talking about Epstein. If these people get arrested, what does that do for your pocketbook? And I'm not saying they shouldn't, they should. But what does that do for your pocketbook? Is the average American thinking about what a dead pedophile has done in the past, which he cannot be held accountable for because he's dead? Ghislaine Maxwell already went to prison. All these other people ain't no real evidence against them. They just nasty. What is that going to do for you buying a house? What is that going to do for the price of medication in this country? What is that going to do for holding medical facilities accountable for overprescribing things that are killing your family member today? What are they going to do about fentanyl that's running rampant in our country? What is that? What is it going to do about, thank God we got rid of DEI and all this other crazy stuff. What is it going to do about religious freedom, being able to worship your God freely without persecution in this country? How does that combat anti-Semitism that we see in America? Okay, keep focusing on Epstein files. That's fine. Keep doing it. If you could do both, good. But if your focus is in one area, stop it. I'm telling you right now, I want even my audience, if you disagree with me, email me evidence of real crimes being committed with evidence in the Epstein files. Don't send me a message where somebody says something about a pizza and we don't, and they have no evidence. I'm talking about send me something where you say this person was actively involved in crimes. Because I see people who are doing things that seem nasty and stupid, but like the one guy that was in the health industry, he's getting canceled because I guess he wanted to hang out with Epstein instead of being with his kid that had cancer. Or had some type of a sickness or something. Well, that guy's a nut, and that's silly. But is that a crime? And to be honest, I couldn't care less that guy did that in his personal life, unless he's preaching against it and then he's doing that as a hypocrite. But other than that, that's him and his family. You don't watch him for family advice anyway. You watching him for nutrition. But then they find ways to put people in there to discredit them. I'm telling you, Scott Galloway. I got 2 minutes. Scott Galloway is the most disappointing person of the year to me. I bought his book. I really thought he was standing up for men and all that stuff. Man, Scott Galloway is a nut just like the rest of them. He's sitting up there saying that Donald Trump's name is mentioned in the Epstein files more than Jesus Christ in the Bible. Well, last time I checked, there's not 3 million pages in the Bible. And Donald Trump, and most of the references with his name in it, is them hating on him and him bashing Epstein and getting him kicked out of places and saying he needs to be investigated. It's a false equivalence. But why would Scott Galloway and others make an inference? Because they're trying to leverage whatever they can to make Donald Trump look bad in the midterms. That's the only reason why the Democrats are ramping this up and trying to act like they care. Don't fall for the bait. All right. For all the members, come on over to the post-show Clarity. We're going to talk about a bunch of different things. I think in the post-show, Grant got 10 random questions that he's going to ask me. And Grant does a really good job of asking me random questions that I would never think to answer. But he's going to ask it to me. And if you're a member, come on over. We're going to switch right over right out in about 1 minute. We're going to switch over. You're going to see that it's members only. If you're not a member, hit the join button, join the membership. The first level of membership is $4.99. Very achievable. I tried to make it fair and reasonable. So anybody that buy a drink like this, that's just one a month. That's just one drink a month. Either an extra drink for you or let a drink go 1 day out of the whole 30 days in a month. Okay? Also, go in on Verdict. All y'all know all the stuff, man. Look in the description section if you're interested in anything else we do. But in about 10 seconds, I want all the members to get ready. Come on over to the post-show Clarity with me and Grant, and we're going to have a good conversation. And then I'm interviewing Billboard Chris and y'all cannot wait to see that interview. All right. I'll see y'all on the other side.